Hi, and just a quick video on swapping out a PS5 HDMI port. So as you can see, this one's pretty battered. For the full strip down, you can find that on my main channel. So once it's all fully stripped down and we get to the HDMI port, we just need to add a load of flux. Then heat from underneath, so a range from 450 to 480. It does need a lot of heat because the board's designed to absorb it. Just keep moving it around side by side, don't forget to take that little pad off. Then keep it moving. It will take a few minutes. Then eventually the solder is going to start melting. You just gently touch the HDMI port and it will come loose. Never pull at it, otherwise you are going to pull the pads off. And then once you see it starting to move, then you can gently lift it off. Then leave it to cool down for a minute or two. So this is optional, but I do it most of the time. I just have to add a bit of solder wick, soldering iron and the heat gun, solder onto the port legs. This helps with refitting, but it isn't always needed every time. So as you can see, I did knock a couple of chips off here. So it did refit them on my main channel, so if you do something like that, you can watch the full video. But if you don't do that, if you're not as stupid as I was, you just run some fresh solder over the port legs, ready for the new port to go on. Then once you've done that, give it a good clean of isopropyl, make sure all the chips are back in place before you start soldering back on. It just makes it easy to do it now rather than when the port's on. Then I just quickly prep the new port to go on. So I put some flux along the legs. And then just get my soldering iron, set it 340 with a bit of solder on, and then just run it on the legs. This way all the legs have got solder on and it makes it easier for them to connect to the pads on the board. Just make sure you have no bridges. Then once we're done, we reapply some more flux, just spread it out a little bit. And then once again, we heat from below. So 450, 480. Depending on how long you left, it might take a little bit longer to warm up if you left any solder in there. So you'll start seeing the solder melting. Once you've seen the solder melted, that's when you can get the new port. You need to keep the heat on, keep it moving while you place the new port. Once the new port's on and in place, you need to make sure you press it down. So once you're happy it's lined up, just press and hold and then remove the hot air, keep hold of it. Make sure that all the HDMI pins are attached to all the pads. If some aren't fully attached, then it's going to make it a little bit harder for reattaching them later, and also it's not going to work fully. So you just need to give it a couple of seconds to make sure all the solder solidifies before you can let go. Once it's cooled down, we can have a quick look to make sure that all the pins are solid and are all soldered on perfectly, which as you can see they are. And then just to finish, we just need to put a bit of flux and a bit of solder onto the HDMI port legs, just to keep it nice and solid so it's not going to move in the future. and now you've got a fully working HDMI port. Then a final clean and we're pretty much done. Thanks very much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe.